No intern Sam this week. So Nick, can you please take over for intern Sam and enlighten us with this episode's audience polls from our YouTube platform?
Awesome. I will do that. And I think I would say that this installment, Sons, Intern Sam, it would say is inspired by our bookshop. So bookshop.org, we got an awesome
Black
collaboration with
owned,
them. Yep, Black owned company.
female owned.
There you go. Look at them. Black owned, female owned, independent, right? Entrepreneurs.
Yep.
So yeah, we have a great bookshop.org. And one of the great things about that, we've got that on our beacons. So beacons.ai, all over, whether it's on bonsai.film or through YouTube, you can click that beacons link and you can go to our bookshop. We try to curate content, curate books for people to read, things that are interesting to Chris and I, right, in our lives, things that are compelling to us, as well as things that we think that filmmakers would enjoy or can learn from. So bookshop.org, please check out our beacons again on YouTube and on bonsai.film to check all that good stuff out. And with that, I'll get into the poll. I'm actually going to do one since we did a culture check. I'm going to do this one poll. Okay. So
one long poll.
Yes, one. So which do you prefer? Physical books.
Papa Bear's
You're right. He's like,
Papa Bear's disapproval of me is
of
so
your
palpable.
Right.
I'm sorry, PB.
All right. So, which do you
That
prefer?
was immature.
Physical books or audio books?
Ooh. Okay. What are the?
Okay.
Those are only two choices.
Those are the
binary?
only two choices.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Physical books, 84%. Audio books, 16%.
Wow.
Now, there's something really, really interesting about that. So our audience tends to be between, it's like the ages of 18 and 45 with
right.
the strongest number, I think, between our 25 and 35.
Yep. That's about the home
That
of our audience. Yeah.
group right there, I would not have thought that they went physical books over audiobooks. Never in a million years. Like I'm floored by I did not expect that result at all, because I feel like a lot of the folks that I talk to in that age range, it's like audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube. It's things that are easily consumable while doing other things.
Exactly.
Like, no one does one thing anymore.
Therein lies the rub. And Dominic, PB, I don't know if you guys agree. And Nick, I am not surprised by the outcome. I am surprised by the difference in the outcome. I will say that. I didn't think it'd be 84-16.
No.
I thought it'd be like maybe 55-45,
right.
if I'm being real. Like,
Yep.
because I think, and this is, I'm cheating a little bit because I read some of the comments on this, but it's, but I feel the same way. So I identify with this. What I've found is the performance on the audiobook needs to be great. And Dominic mentioned earlier about when you start listening to a lot of audiobooks, you start to realize the difference between a great narrator of audiobooks and someone who is really making it difficult for you to get through it. I just finished Blood Meridian on audiobook. That the person who did that is, I mean, top 1% talented. Then you can go to
Blood Meridian?
Yeah. I know Cormac McCarthy wrote it, but he didn't narrate it.
Oh, I know, but extraordinary book. Okay, sorry.
I'm jealous. I found myself. This is an aside, which is what I do.
Part and parcel.
Yeah, but Dominic, throughout this book, I found myself laughing out loud because I could not believe.
You're
No, not laughing at the content. Yes, I am. But I am a sick motherfucker. But here's the deal: I could not believe how well it was written. I couldn't believe it. I was like, to be able to write like this is hilarious.
Yeah, so Dominic, those are those moments when you hear something and you're like,
The judge.
Like, that's what that is.
Pure jealousy.
The judge. I'll never forget that character.
The judge. Oh my God, the judge, man. The judge. And you thought it was going to be about the kid, but it's really about the judge. Yeah. And if you haven't read or listened to Blood Meridian, go do it immediately. But then I'd look at somebody like Malcolm Gladwell, and his voice isn't a pleasing voice, but it's a known voice, and therefore it works.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. He narrates his own books, and it works. But here's what I find: when the narrator isn't good, I don't remember anything about the book. Nothing. And so when I have the book in my hand, I remember everything, and I have the opportunity to highlight. So I think it really illustrates people's frustration with, okay, I'm listening to the audiobook, but do I enjoy audiobooks, or am I addicted to stimulation? So I want to be stimulated now. It's 2025. I want to be stimulated at all costs, no matter what. I want a freaking TV in my eyeballs. I want an audiobook in my ears, and I want somebody massaging my shoulders at the same time if I can do it. I do believe that people are addicted to stimulation now.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
people will listen to entire audiobooks and not remember anything from it.
Yeah, I think there's one other thing with our audience. So this, I'm glad that you're mentioning that, because maybe they read it, they read it in their context. So let me just kind of explain this. So if you guys have ever used Blinkist,
Yeah.
right, it's like the Cliff Notes of books. Okay. And I listen to that from time to time, just to depend.
Well,
on
it's the
topic,
digital
right?
Cliff Notes of books,
Yeah,
because
it's-
Cliff Notes is the Cliff Notes of books.
It's the audio Cliff Notes of books, right? So it's the digital audio app-based Cliff Notes of books. So it's really cool because you can get these little snippets,
Yeah.
but their voices are boring. Like, I mean, there was one
They're
that
no
they had
Dominic
on there
Hoffman.
that I was blown. I was like, they let this, so it was so bad I couldn't tell if it was a person or if it was AI, right? It was just like, there's
Yeah.
no inflection, there's no tone, and they're so clean, right? There's obviously no breaths. You don't hear any of that in there, but it's so clean.
No
Like
soul,
Chris
as
said, I don't
Dominic was
remember.
saying.
Yeah, the soul's gone. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember any of it. It wasn't like someone was advising me or someone was kind of giving me the story. It was just words. And I'm curious if our audience, when they thought about audiobooks, if they were more equating it to these snippet type things, right? Things that are quick, right? That you can listen to, and they're like, no, those, I hate those, because again, it sounds like a robot or it's basic, but they haven't really experienced like a true audiobook. So I don't know. It's a good point that you made about what people are consuming. So maybe they're voting against something totally different, like Blinkist. I don't know. Just a thought.
Oh, there's a
There-
great difference. There's a difference between great narration and reading aloud. And I think that that element that makes it great is what Dominic brings to it. I've listened to several of your samples of your narration, and that's that element you pointed to, acting. And when you bring in the acting element, it changes it from reading out loud.
Yeah,
I agree.
I wanted to address a couple things, and what you just said. I hate the clip because you don't really get to understand what the person is going to do, because it's just this much, and it's out of context. But what happens sometimes if you get an actor in there and they start out and you might be just okay, 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 but then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, because there is a progression in the storytelling, as there is when you read a book by itself and okay, 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 oh shit, okay, oh, okay, oh, you know what I'm saying? It develops into something. The other thing I want to say is I'm surprised by these numbers. Kindle was not in there, and I read from Kindle only because I can blow the
Right.
shit up, so I don't have to do things.
Yeah.
But I miss books so much. But I was thinking that number surprised me. But I think one of the things, I mean, if you took that poll in LA, it would be off the charts in the other direction. Why? Because you have to commute. You have
Yep.
to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Good point.
you are driving all the time, those people listen to audiobooks like nobody's business. I can't tell you how many people said, "Yeah, man, I was on my way to New Mexico and I listened to 2 of your books." I'm like, "Dang, how far
Wow.
is it? 14 hours it takes to get to New Mexico from here in the car."
Yeah.
So here in commuting, I mean, I live in Venice, man. For me, it takes a court order for me to go, 10 blocks past it. I'm like, no. But if from any time from 2:30 to 7, it'll take you 3 or 4 times as long to get somewhere on the east. If you go from west to east here.
Yeah.
So people listen to audiobooks.